Okay, what's up, y'all? I just tried to record this and apparently didn't record anything, so we're gonna try this again. A little post midterms update for y'all. So I had three midterms: civil procedure, torts, and legislation and regulation. And then we also had a memo due for legal writing. So I guess you could consider that a fourth midterm, but I don't know. But you know, I wanted to wait until I got like an actual piece of feedback before making this video because I feel like it'll be more accurate if, like have with me having waited for, I guess like a grade, even though it's not like really a formal grade. So at my school, most midterms are either they don't count towards your grade or they're such a small part of your grade that it's like it wouldn't really affect your grade. The final is what mostly affects your grade. But it's really, really, really good practice for the final exams because because our final exams are like 4 to 5 hours, and our midterms are about half of that. They're between 1 to 2 hours. So sitting in an exam environment like with the proctor and like logging onto the platform to do the test, and going through like all of those motions and everything is very reflective of what our final exam experience is going to be like. At least I think so. And the actual exam itself that the teachers write, they write it on purpose so that it could be like basically like a practice test for the final. Because the way that it's set up is like it's a bunch of paragraphs, and in each paragraph there's multiple issues, and the issues are like basically like the legal problems that are raised. And you have to write about what that issue is, what's the applicable law to that issue, how do you apply that law to the issue and analyze it, what's the counter argument to what you're saying, and then what's your conclusion to that. So we call that the IRAC format, IRAC. And it takes a second, but you have to go as fast as you possibly can during the exam because there's so many issues to address, and you just want to answer as many as you can, as thoroughly as you can, because you could address all the issues, and if your answer is not thorough, you're not going to get points. So it's like a game of, how much can I do in the time period that I've been given, because they do cut you off once the time is reached. But let's go back to like day of the exams and stuff. So day of the torts exam, that was our first midterm exam. I think we were all kind of like jittery a little bit just because we were kind of like, we don't know what this is gonna feel like once we actually get in there. But we had all studied, we were all doing our thing, okay, section 3, we gonna do what we need to do. But it was honestly like, I think the majority of us walked out of there feeling like that wasn't that bad. So, like that's pretty good, I think. I would say so. I didn't think that it went that bad either. I knew immediately what I needed to work on for the final after I walked out of that exam, and I knew that it was timing, because you literally, there's so many issues on the exam and you have to address as many as you possibly can, and I don't think I addressed enough. Like, yeah. I had counter arguments in all of my responses, but I didn't have like, like 15 torts or whatever on my exam. Like, I didn't write out the full IRAC for those 15 torts, or I think it's like a total of like 20 torts or something like that. Honestly, I don't know. I don't remember anymore. But it was that was just like that day. So it wasn't like a super super stressful experience where like afterwards you just feel like, ugh. Like, no. It was actually pretty good. And I got that result back, and my results were positive. I mean, oh my God, that's so triggering because of COVID. I can't even say that anymore without thinking of COVID. My results were positive. Whoa. Okay, rewind. um, I would say that my feedback was positive, and um, like I said, the feedback that I got was like, well, if you had just finished this last answer, like, yeah, because I need to work on my timing. So that was like the feedback that I got. And then also just making sure that like organization is key on on these exams. So making sure that when you have like multiple torts, even if it's from the same sentence, that you split up the two issues separately. So if it's like battery and assault, like don't do assault and battery under the same um, response. Do battery and assault, or assault and battery. Like separate the two. I think I made that mistake like once on the exam, and yeah, teachers don't like that. But moving on to civil procedure, our civil procedure exam was like 2 days later. I think that one was a lot more nerve-wracking and stressful for people because our teacher literally, like, he makes it known that he will put everything on the exam. Um, but after the exam, everyone was still, like chilling, like, okay, like it either went well or it didn't go well at all. So, and I think I felt the same way. I was like, I either did really well or I didn't do well at all. And once again, timing was an issue for me. Um, I didn't finish the last question. So, definitely need to work on timing, which is like so horrible, but it's okay. Got back my civil procedure exam, and I actually did do well, so I'm proud of myself. Now the question is, can I do that again on the final? But I basically got full points for my civil procedure exam for all of the questions except for the last one, which I didn't answer completely, obviously, because I ran out of time, so I didn't have the full analysis, so I can't get full points. But yeah, I did pretty well. And oh, for legislation and regulation, I would be lying to y'all if I told y'all I knew what was going on in that class. I don't know. I do not know. Legislation and regulation is a class that was created by our school to teach us about statutes and the function of the law in terms of Congress and agencies and things like that. So we're learning like statutory interpretation, and we're learning about like um, executive authority and the power of the president and how it can be limited by the courts and by Congress and how the court should interpret what Congress wrote and all of that. And like it's like interesting from like an outside perspective, but when you have to study it, I think it just takes all of the interest away. But anyways, that exam, I didn't know really how to write for that exam because that class is just like, it's kind of special, so it's kind of hard to write in Iraq, but I just decided to write in Iraq anyways because I didn't know whether I didn't like that's what I'm used to now is writing in that format, so it makes more sense organizational wise. I don't know if that made sense. Uh but yeah, I wrote in Iraq, and yeah. I got my feedback for that exam. I would have done well on that exam, except for the fact that I forgot to cite to the case that I talked about in the entire essay. So that basically took away like a lot of points. Because if you don't just outright say it, like you have to be so explicitly clear in your exams and in your responses. So if you don't just outright say it, like this is this case that where this happened and this is what I'm taking from it and this is why it's similar to what I'm talking about right now, like you have to say those things super 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 clearly and explicitly, otherwise you won't get points. So I'm glad I learned that now. And yeah, those were how my exams went. Other updates, because this semester has already been crazy and it's like only like November. We had the cyber attack, which y'all saw a clip of earlier. We had like so many like flood days where like there was so much rain that there was flash flood warning, so they decided to go virtual for school, whatever. We had, I don't even remember. Like I feel like it's so much. I feel like every week there's something going on, and it's just like at this point we're just going with the flow. We really are. But it's, a lot of it is like due to like lack of organization. Um but yeah. Anyways, that's all the updates I have for now. If I remember anything down the road that I forgot to tell y'all, I will definitely include it in a later video. But my first semester is going pretty well so far, I would say, you know. I'm 22 now. My birthday was in October. And yeah,